Your gifts are designed to make room for you, designed to bring you into rooms where greatness lives. And tonight, you're already here. Welcome to A1 Conversations. I'm your host, Joe Little III, lead singer of 90s R&B group Rude Boys. Now, from the heart of Akron, Ohio, every now and then a rare kind of artist emerges, not just talented, not just gifted, but driven by something deeper. You got the King, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Grammy Award winner James Ingram, and 80s R&B groups Shalimar's own Howard Hewitt, to name a few. But on today, I'm proud to have a young man here with me who didn't wait for doors to open. He built his own. He stepped on stages meant for legends. He took risk meant for the fearless. And somehow, at just 26 years old, he's now a national household name. From the Apollo Lights to Emmy nominations to the Kennedy Center honors to giving back to the very community, Akron, that shaped him. This is more than a career. This is a calling. This is the rise of a creator who refuses to limit his impact to one lane. Today, we sit down with a young visionary, the pride of Akron, a young man I've had the pleasure of going viral with, over 3 million streams of a reorchestrated version of my smash hit, Written All Over Your Face, and performing live in front of a sold-out crowd at the City Winery in Atlanta, Georgia, with my group, the Rude Boys. Today, I'm proud to have here with me, as I get emotional right now today, Kofi B. Kofi, let's get into it, bro.
What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Joe, first of all, this is great. Thank you for having me. This is awesome. I love what you're doing, man.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you kindly.
Glad to be a part of it, man.
Yes. Man, so I know you fresh off, you've been touring this past weekend. I know you tired, man. So
I'm here.
I do appreciate you coming here to sit with me, man, because I know it's been rigorous out there for you. But hey, man, you're getting a taste of the good life. And like in the word of God, it says, a man gift make room for him.
Amen.
And sets him at the table amongst the greats. And we are here today. So, man, I appreciate you for your time.
Yes, sir. Well, before you start, you said something powerful right there saying about being amongst the greats. And I know we might talk about it a lot right now, but I do want to publicly thank you for the opportunities that you have gifted me. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't even know a lot of that stuff that you said in that bio if it wasn't for somebody like yourself taking a shot on a kid like me. So I appreciate you. And I just had to make sure that was known because I don't know where this is going. But, man, this means more to me than you'll ever know. So I appreciate it, bro.
I appreciate you. Now, we're going to get to it. You often refer to yourself as the other kid from Akron, okay? What does that phrase now mean to you at this stage in your life?
Well, you know what? When I started saying that was back in my high school days when I was really just trying to push myself, right? I mean, I had a kid from Akron that I saw that kind of made a name for himself, as we all know, in the sport of basketball. And I just wanted to find my lane through music. And, that was kind of something that I just said to myself to challenge myself. And I stopped saying it about a couple years ago, but now it's like everybody in Akron been calling me that. And, they say it on the news when I'm on the news around here. So it's just called a life of its own. But it's always just been a humbling mantra that I kind of honed for myself. And, to be from Akron is a pretty cool part of my story, as you know. And, just being from a place like that where there's not many people like me that do music and come from that place. But you did mention some great people like Howard Hewitt and the Ingram brothers. I mean, so, I mean, it is some great talent that has come from there. But to be young and still be able to show what this city is capable of doing is special.
Amazing. So, have you ever met that other kid from Akron?
You talking about Bron?
LeBron James,
that is the question of the year I've been getting. I will say no, I have not met LeBron. So
what?
No, I've never. Have you met LeBron?
Yeah, I met him, but he he probably know my songs,
I'm sure,
and know who I
course.
am. I met his mom though. His mom knows me.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting. Like my aunt was my basketball coach in high school. I know Randy. I know Maverick's mom and my mom used to work together. And I know his mother, Miss Kathy. So I mean, it's all one family affair when it comes to Akron people. But I've never met LeBron personally, to just make that clear for everybody that be wondering that.
Right. So take me back to Akron. When did you first realize music was your thing, and particularly the piano. When did you know that this was more than just a hobby?
You know, when I knew that it was more than a hobby was when I played at this mall back in it's called Summit Mall, and I want to call it Akron, but it's really like Fairlawn, Ohio. And at the time, they had a grand piano that was sitting in the lobby, and my mom let me play it, and then this random guy put a Starbucks cup on the piano, and then people started putting money in there. That's when I realized I could probably turn this hobby into a thing that could make me some money in the future. But before that, I just kind of met music randomly, man. My mom saw an advertisement for piano lessons, and I just took a shot at it, man, because I was playing baseball at the time, and I was doing karate.
Wow.
Clearly, I was not an MLB player or an MMA fighter, so she knew that wasn't going to work for me. But
Right.
music just caught on with me, man. And, yeah, for me, I started pretty late, man.
Do you remember when you was 4?
Do I remember when I was 4? Yeah.
What was you doing that for?
When I was 4, I was speaking.
Of course you were.
Yeah, I was speaking in my room, and I set up a little church in my room, and
Really?
I'll call my brothers and my mom to come and listen to me for about I thought it was about 2 or 3 minutes, but apparently it was about 3 or 4 hours. So, but they sat there. That's their fault. I ain't telling you.
Right.
I must have been talking about something profound.
Right.
They got up and left, in between, but it was a fun time at that time for myself.
So by 19, you knew you want what you wanted. And so
Yeah.
what did you see in yourself that other people didn't see?
I saw all along, even before I was 19, I knew that music was the thing for me when I was about my 8th grade, 9th grade year. So when I was transitioning to go to my high school years, that's when I knew I needed to lock into the career aspect and the business side of what I was doing. Because when I was 12 years old, I was working with, leaders and community executives in my city of Akron, when I was a kid playing at all these different corporate events. So I already had the infrastructure to do what I'm doing now back then. So, I mean, for me, I just wanted to see how far I could take it. Because, I mean, at the time of being like 15, 16 years old, everybody had that job, like that first job. Like, so all my peers, I remember this like it was yesterday when I was in sophomore year of high school. Everybody got their job at, Subway, McDonald's, Wendy's, whatever. And then we would all sit at the cafeteria and people would ask, talk about their jobs and stuff. And then they come to me and they'd be like, so Kofi, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I play music. At the time I was playing in church and stuff. And they just was like, oh, all right, Little did they know I was making more in like 2 hours than they was making in a week. But,
Man.
But I just let it be. I just let it be because I was like, you know what? This is going to be the thing that people will see probably 10 years from now. It's never going to be the thing now as a 15-year-old. But when I'm 25, 26, they're going to hear what I got to say. So
Cool.
I just kept that pushing, man.
So you won a silver medal at the ACTSO?
Yeah, ACTSO.
ACTSO,
Yeah.
that's what it is. I didn't know what that was, but I never heard of it, but I know it's something big.
Yeah.
Because you joined the likes of Lauryn Hill, Jennifer Hudson, and Alicia Keys. So what did that moment mean to you?
It was one of those moments where it was a stamp of approval for myself. Because to know what that whole competition is about, it was basically, so ACTSO, for those that don't know, NAACP does this national convention every year. They go to different cities all across the country. And then they have the youth component where it's like a youth competition. So all these different categories, they got the scientists, they got math people, they got, musicians, they got actors, they got dancers.
So these categories are broke up into many.
Yeah, but I mean, so many of these kids, though, are at the top of the top because they're competing regionally, and then they go statewide in their chapter, and then they'll end up making it from those competitions all the way to the national competitions. So I had to go from my local chapter to the state, and then made it to the nationals, and then won in the nationals. But I mean, that competition was pretty stiff, man. And it was crazy. Is a lot of those guys and gals that I was in the competition with, many of them are having great careers now. Some now were, most of them are like with the scientists are like doctors now. I'm 26. I can't believe it. When you said I was 26, I was like, God, time is flying, bro. And I know I ain't that old, but I'm starting to feel it in my kneecaps.
Are you already?
A little bit.
Come on, man.
This morning was tough. I told you, I've been in 4 states in 2 days, man.
That's it. Well, welcome to the life, bro.
Thank you.
So you're a 2-time Emmy-nominated pianist. What drives you? How do you feel about being nominated for this?
It sounds good when people say it,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, it's never been about accolades. I mean, I think those are the things that get you into a room. I love what one of my good friends, Nina Turner, says: "Talent is great, titles are great, but purpose is better." It's the reason why people probably get a chance to see what I do and hear what I do a little louder than if you didn't say I was a
Right.
2-time or now 3-time, I guess, Emmy-nominated with my newest nomination, but. I love the fact that I'm able to tell stories and create moments that get that type of notoriety and acclaim, because that's what, when I started my production company, that was the big thing. It wasn't just about getting nominations. It was more about retaining the ownership of what I was doing, because that was huge for me when I was starting off and going viral. I didn't take the deals. I didn't get I didn't go to the label. I didn't go to the big studio.
Right.
Because I kind of looked at the blueprint of guys like a Tyler Perry, and even seeing guys like yourself that just had, within the business of what they're creating, had this opportunity to, branch out and do their own things. And so I wanted to keep that at the forefront from the jump.
Right.
To where now it's like, if I'm building this thing up in a couple of years, or at least now, I don't want to necessarily have to get signed to something. Let's partner with something. Let's create something together. So that's why I'm happy about the nominations, because it's kind of like showing me that I'm on the right track. You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
So yeah.
What drives your approach? Like, what drives you? What do you think sets you apart from other young creatives like you?
I am the young guy that is actively entertaining people, but giving flowers to the OGs and the legends, while at the same time introducing a new, fresh approach to jazz, unapologetically not doing straight ahead jazz music, because I know tons of cats that are dope at that, and they're amazing, and I went to school with a lot of them. But I just didn't want to. I saw a different lane for myself, and I think what I'm loving about the journey is that, aside from the fact that people are enjoying it, man, I'm loving it. Like, I'm genuinely falling in love every day with the process of meeting new people, seeing new faces, and growing this platform, and creating good music, new music too. So I just like to go against the grain a little bit, man. That's been like the whole story of my journey, just doing what people thought couldn't happen and showing them how I did it.
Great. So social media definitely has helped your creativity reach millions.
Yeah.
Now, how has storytelling online shaped your voice as an artist and a communicator?
It's everything, man. I was talking to one of my mentors a couple months ago, Harold Lilly. And
Harold Lilly, a hell of a writer. That's my boy, too.
Shout out to my guy, man.
He came to Futureland one year and was there. Was you there that year?
No, I wasn't. I was out of town, and
then
I texted him.
Michael Cox.
Yep.
Yep.
I told him, I was like, why you gonna come to my city when I'm out of my city? But
it's here.
Yeah. But he always tells me, he's like, Kofi, the best story wins. The best story wins. And I've always kept that at the forefront of my mind. Like, my background in school was marketing. I mean, I went to school for music.
Wow.
But I went to when I was at the University of Akron, I was there for integrated marketing communication.
So do you use that within your career with yourself?
Every day.
Sweet.
And that was the thing, though, because I was trying to figure out, I was like, when I was in school, I was sitting there and I was in this one class, and it was like, I think it was the beginning, like intro to marketing class, and I was looking at how they was talking about how Coca-Cola, does their advertising and their marketing and all these big brands, and I was like, well, why can't I do that for Kofi?
Right.
I'm like, so you're telling me that all they do is show their face everywhere that they possibly can in different forms, and people, like, they call it the mere exposure effect. The more you see it, the more you want it. And I was like, okay, so if I can continue to share a brand of myself that I align with innately, naturally, but just keep doing it consistently, you think people going to really rock with it? And it's working.
It's easy. So you've collaborated with such legends as the Ohio Players, Jay Moss, the young lady Ambrosia.
Yeah.
That's what kind of really set you off.
Yeah, man.
And, man, a host of many others. You shared the stage with many.
This other guy, too, man.
Who? Me?
With Joe Little.
Yeah.
I can't, man. That one guy,
Me.
Yes,
so,
sir.
when you're collaborating with legends like us, you know what I'm saying? Because I embrace my legend.
Yes, sir.
Legendary status. I worked very hard for it as a kid, and I always said that I would do it. But what do you look for within your collaborations when you hook up with the greats?
Authenticity. I mean, and I think the moment with Flowetry and with Marsha was so special, but I think the moments that I created with you and with Ohio players and even like Montel Jordan, those are the moments to me that were really special because of how much I wanted to do it. Right? I mean, I probably get pitched. I think after we did ours, I got a call from every R&B artist from the 1980s to 90s and early 2000s that you could think of.
Right.
Which is a blessing, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure that whatever I do with that person makes sense and with that individual. And I didn't want it to. I don't do things for the view count. I do it for the do count. You know what I mean? And the people that do count toward my journey, toward the stories that I'm telling, and the people that I hope to inspire. So I mean, future collaborations, hopefully they happen. But I'm proud of just the moment that we had, man. Thank you for. I mean, again, you trusted me. That's the biggest thing. You trust me. Marsha trusted me, and Rick and Billy Beck of Ohio players trusted me with their classics. That's like your baby, dog. You know what I mean? So that means a lot to me because I'm sure I told you there's probably a ton of people that probably reached out and said, let me redo Written All Over Your Face with you. You know, and I just had the idea and I was like, you know what, let me just ask. Because I'm like, the worst thing you can do is tell me no. And all you got to do is say yes.
Man, do you remember the first time I met you?
Yeah. Well, the first time
was at the little spot up here. Yeah. But I'm not going to lie, man. And I met a couple of your guys that had played with you that night. I was like, man, is dude arrogant? Because at first, actually, I did. I was like, is that he like act like he ain't really know me or whatever? And then maybe I was in my own feelings, you know. But listen, but I was just watching you, and I was looking at you. I'm like, man, how old is this dude? You carried yourself with a poise that was amazing and so professional. And you said, hey, how you doing? I told you who I was. You was like, oh, hey, how you doing? But I caught you at a time where you was preparing for the show, and I know how that feels.
Yeah.
You get in that zone, and you get in your mindset. And when you called me, I was surprised.
Yeah, well,
I really was.
Here's the thing, man. First of all, I'm terrible with names, but I knew you. I knew you. In the moment, again, like you said, when you're trying to put this together and put that other piece together, and then
because y'all had some technical difficulties that day.
That event should have. Yes, I was helping a friend out.
Right.
I just so happened to be there at the right time because I was speaking at a youth event earlier that day. Yeah, but long story short, yes, that was an interesting event that you met me at. But yeah, man, I mean, I just was looking for something that felt right, and I wanted to, see if the moment felt right to you.
Man, listen, what I will tell you before we move on, man, performing with you and you reorchestrating Written All Over Your Face and us putting this out to the world and the internet and what it did for me was truly amazing. I thank you because it brought me up to your current.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so it's cool. It's cool to be a legend. It's cool to be an OG and classic, man. But sometimes we feel like we're forgotten or we don't get our just due. But what I will say is that you help give me more attention online, man. I got more shows because of you.
Man.
Then you brought me back. You brought the whole group to Atlanta at the winery. We did our thing. So I today want to really thank you for putting me into now.
Man.
You brought me up and you made me more relevant, man. So
you, man.
At the same time you thanking me, I'm thanking you, man.
I appreciate it,
and
man.
I appreciate you. So listen, in 2022, you made 20 racks, man. I don't know where I was. I didn't get a cut. But you won the prize, you won the Apollo. And this is what kind of really started setting it off. What went through your mind the moment they called your name?
The final round when I won?
Yeah.
Man, first of all, people don't even understand what it took to get to that point. Me and my mom, we were just sharing about this story of when we last was talking to each other about how around this time, it was November of that 2022, we had to scrape together every last dime we had possibly gotten just to get to New York. And so at that point, we were saying to ourselves, like, Kofi, if you don't win this thing, it's going to be all bad. And aside from when they called my name, I mean, it was a sigh of relief. I worked so hard when I competed at amateur night. Like, I competed and worked harder than all of my contestants. I say that I say that as much as humbly as I can, but like nobody obsessed over Amateur Night like I did. Like I watched every episode of Showtime to prepare.
I did too. As a kid
I
growing up.
saw you on those episodes when you was, you know,
I was a youngster.
You was doing your dance.
We was on there twice.
Yeah.
I
was like, oh man, this is definitely in the 90s. But,
it was a dream come true for me, bro.
Man, so I mean, as you know, so that stage is so legendary, and I just have so much respect and grace, you know, for that stage. So I would never want to ever go up there and not be the best version of myself, especially when I was competing, because I knew how important that was. I was the only pianist. Everybody else was a powerhouse singer and vocalist. So like, I was already at a disadvantage because, you know, now you got to prove yourself amongst them.
Well, it proved that you wasn't at a disadvantage. And guess what? You made history.
Yeah.
Because you were the first person to ever win the Apollo, and you came back and you hosted it.
Yeah.
Like with the likes of Steve Harvey, Sinbad,
Yes,
Whoopi Goldberg, Monique.
Yeah.
Now, how stepping into that spotlight changed you? What did it do for you?
It was huge. I mean, I've always dreamed of hosting. That's always been the silent dream. I didn't know the producers saw that in me, and I didn't know that people really wanted to. Well, it was how it happened was interesting because after I won Amateur Night, I got a call to do America's Got Talent.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing people don't know. But the problem with signing up to do America's Got Talent was that the contract basically said, I can talk about it now, that we couldn't do our act for the duration of the show, and which is, I guess, a good deal for kids, but not the best deal for an adult, you know, that uses their talent to make a living. So I couldn't perform. And so the only thing I could do was speak. I was like, okay, well, let me just try to book some. Because I hadn't done a speech since I was like maybe like in my high school years as a senior class president. So like I was trying to scramble some ways to do it. I got a call to do a speaking engagement for the NAACP, and I was like, you know what? I film everything else performing wise. Well, let's just film the speaking engagement. I found a videographer named Ramon who works with me to this day, and he recorded me doing this speaking engagement, and that video went viral on the internet. And I didn't know that people really wanted to hear me speak like that. I thought they just wanted to see me play.
You got so many viral moments, bro.
Yeah, but that was special to me in a lot of ways because it did get the attention of the producers at the Apollo, and they're like, "We didn't know you could talk," you know, because all they do is see me play. Right. So they're like, you know, have you ever thought about? Or Marion, the producer of the Apollo, hit me up and said, "Hey, can we try out for the holiday special for the Apollo?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll try it out." They gave me a shot, man, and I knocked it out the park, and then they gave me a call and said, "Hey, you want to host a season opener?" I was like, "The season opener? This is for the 90th anniversary of Amateur Night." I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Now, this is really big. Your acting debut.
Yeah, man.
And Whitney Houston's "I Want to Dance with Somebody" as her keyboardist. Now, just take me through that because this is major. I had to go back to the movie to see you.
You see my little face.
I seen well, now that I recognize you. You know, you my little nephew. But dude,
yeah, man.
What? Tell me about that.
That was a dream come true to be involved with such a legendary movie. A movie that I honestly almost said no to be.
Why?
So when they called
Come
me,
on,
Joe,
Kofi B.
No,
Kofi,
this is not me. I ain't trying to. I know you now. You really gonna think I'm arrogant or something. No, okay. So you gotta understand. Before I did this,
you gonna go back there?
No, I was just joking. I was like, you know.
No, I got you. I'm just messing with you.
No, so when I first started to do, you know, the Apollo and stuff, I was also, so this is during the pandemic time. So I'm trying to find a way to just make money at the time because I'm doing acting. I did a Fanatics commercial. I was an extra in this Julia Childs film, and so that's what I'm saying. I was an extra in this Julia Childs docu-series that they did about her. And if you look, I'm like, there's about 7,000 white people in the background, but there's like one little black dude serving ice cream in one of the episodes. If you look back, that's me. I just want you. I'm just letting
I gotta
you know.
go back and see that.
You ain't gonna watch it. I barely saw it, but that's not the point. The point is that I was an extra, and I remember I just did not like that experience. And we were filming in Boston at the time because I was living there, and so I got a call, or I got a message on Instagram from a guy that said, "Hey," it was just all it said was "pianist wanted for movie." I ended up just sending out a self-tape audition. I sent my Apollo video of me performing, and it turns out that it turns out that the video of me performing at the Apollo ended up going viral at the same time. So the producers and the director of the Whitney movie had already seen it, but I didn't know what I was submitting myself to. I just thought it just said pianist for a movie. Yeah, I was just trying to get my.
You didn't. Hold on, wait a minute. You submitted for it and you didn't know if it was for the Whitney Houston movie?
Idea. Had
it's
no
crazy
idea.
Work, bro.
So so at the time I was just doing different like auditions for stuff. Like I said, I did the Fanatics commercial. Now that was a good commercial.
Wow.
But the Julia Childs joint that scarred me.
Why?
So you're an extra. So when you're an extra in these things, they put you in this holding cell.
Yes, I've been an extra.
But it was really the hair and makeup people that really tripped me out. Because again, it was a Julia Childs biopic. So the cast and crew was predominantly Caucasian. Which is fine, but it just made it very difficult for them to know how to handle black people's hair.
Man.
And so they was. I had no hair. I had just as much hair as you did, Joe, at the time.
Right.
And they was trying to add a little part in my hair or something and slick it. And I was like, "What is going on right now?" And again,
and how old were you then?
This was I was 21.
Wow.
21. So I was scarred from that. But then, so long story short, because this is I'm taking this totally so far that I didn't need to. But I got a call from the director of the casting company that I worked with for this Fanatics commercial. And she called me because we had built a relationship, and I really enjoyed the Fanatics commercial that I filmed. And she said, "Are you sitting down with Kofi?" I was like, "Well, I'm in choir rehearsal. We're about to do the band rehearsal for the church I was playing at." And she was like, "Okay, they want you for the movie. They want you for the movie." I was like, "Well, what movie are you talking about?" She's like, "The Whitney movie."
You forgot about it.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know. I heard of the movie because at the time they were still filming scenes. I knew they were filming the Whitney movie in Boston, but I didn't know. Yeah, like you said, I forgot what I submitted to because I submitted it like 4 months ago.
Wow.
So she called me randomly on a Thursday, said, "Hey, they want you for the Whitney movie." I was like, "Okay." She was like, "But they want to start filming on Sunday." I was like, "Okay." But again, I thought it was like an extra. So I thought I was going to be like air playing the piano and everything. And again, I was already playing at a church, and I was like, well, they're paying us every Sunday. So I was like, I told her, I was like, I don't know if I want to do the extra work because I'm like, they're not going to pay me that much and all that stuff. And she's like, "No, Kofi, you're a principal role. Like, you're going to have a trailer. You're going to do this. You're going to do that." And I was like,
"You got your own trailer, bro?"
Yeah. And I said, "So how much does that pay?" And then she told me, and she's like, "We're talking about residuals and stuff." And I was like, "Wait, why are we still talking about this? I'll be there right now. What you need to do?"
So was it some good money? We ain't gonna say what it was. Was it?
I'll
some
say
good
this,
money?
man. Every 3 months, I want to dance with somebody.
You gotta check
Residuals, y'all.
Feel the heat y'all hear that? If you don't know about residuals, hey, a man's tell him residuals is it, baby.
Ain't no money like for show money.
That's real. So, ain't nothing like for show money. So look, tell me about you founding Blaboke, is that?
Oh, Blaboke Ventures.
Blaboke Ventures. Tell me about that.
That's going back to my media production company that I started when I wanted to retain the ownership of everything I was doing, from the music, content creation.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to make sure that I was unbought and self-built and have the entity to be able to, create things that I wanted to create and, funnel the things I wanted to do. So a lot of people don't know, man, I pretty much do all the editing for most of my content that I release. So, I mean, I have my videographers who are invaluable. Shout out to Ramon and Will Blake and every other individuals that's worked with me in the past. But they send me over the video footage, and I try to put the magic together. So it's a tedious thing, and it's a labor of love. But I love to tell stories, and I like to be able to control the narrative as much as I can. You can't control everything, but you can at least try to give people something to move their moral compass with. So that's why I started the production company. And I mean, I just had two older brothers, man, that just had businesses. My brother has 4 restaurants right now in Orlando. He's an amazing chef, and he's built something for himself. So for me, I was like, I got to do something.
So while you there, how many siblings do you have?
I have two older brothers, and I actually do have a little brother too, on my father's side.
Okay, so while I'm here, and I didn't have these questions, but the story about you and your mom.
Yeah,
I seen it, and it was amazing. It was a tearjerker. It was a heart, it pulled on my heartstrings. Tell me about how you feel about your mom and the struggles that you all went. Man. I don't want to get you too emotional.
No, you're good, man.
You're cool. Tell me about the struggles, man.
I think you don't have the progress without the pain, and so when I see a woman like that, make the sacrifices that she made growing up in a single parent household. She was the custodial parent. My father, as my brother would oftentimes discuss it, he was a part-time worker that wasn't too good at his job, meaning he wasn't there all the time, but when he was there, it was better off that he wasn't, just because he didn't necessarily have the tools and the resources on how to interact with us. So to see my mother's strength in that time, and even now as a 26-year-old man, with the mantras that she left with us, the words that she said to us, it's everything, man. I mean, wow. I don't think I'd be doing much of anything right now if it wasn't for the things that she instilled within us. I mean, at a certain point in our teen years, she'll tell you, like, we were like independent because not because we had to be, so to speak, but because we were so empowered to be. She always tell me, like, when you were in high school, Kofi, I just need you to tell me where to sign. Right. just give me the form, tell me where to sign it, because I already knew what I wanted to do. I knew how I wanted to orchestrate my career and the focus and how I wanted to do things. And my brothers and I, we've always been very cerebral individuals. Like we know our process, and we just do what we want to do because we know that it can be done. And I don't know where that comes from. But I guess my mother plays a great role in that, but also just our upbringing of just never feeling like anything was impossible.
Right.
Even though
Do you have a relationship with your dad?
It's interesting. Thanks for saying that. So my father, I made that effort to reconnect with him about 2 years ago for the first time. I hadn't seen him in 15 years, and what's crazy is, we both lived in Boston at the time. I lived in Boston for school. I was there, and he lived in the Massachusetts area, and we had never connected. And I just made the effort to connect with him. And I think this is a good message to tell people when they reconnect with their fathers or whatever, their parents. I didn't come at him with the energy of, why weren't you there? Instead of me asking and victim shaming, whatever the case may be, or trying to project hatred or whatever type of emotion onto him, I had to just ask questions that I never knew. Like, because my father's not from here. My father's from Ghana. So. And
your mom is too?
My mom is, no, she's from here.
Okay.
So I wanted to know. I was like, hey, what was it like coming here? Because he's a Ghanaian that was in the U.S. Army. Like, how you do that?
Right.
So that little question like that opened up the whole understanding of everything for me. And also, my mom growing up never shamed him. Like, never made it seem.
That's fire, man.
Yeah.
I always thank women that, men, or even on the other side, because I know men that have been single parents and moms that have been single parents, and it's always great when the woman doesn't shame the man or the man shames the woman, because you don't want to plant that seed in a child's head. But Kofi, I thank you for sharing your past as far as your home life, man, because some people are sensitive about it. But I did see a amazing story about you and your mom, and it touched my life. I even had told you when we came to Atlanta and met with you. So I want to shift to, in 2024, Ambassador of Engagement for the Kennedy Center Honors. Tell me about that, man.
So at the time, the Apollo was receiving their honor as the first institution to ever be honored at the Kennedy Center Honors, and the Kennedy Center Honors, not even the Apollo, they just reached out to me and said, hey, we want you to be involved because we see what you've done with the Apollo in the past, and but they wanted me to be the Ambassador of Engagement for the entire event. So it was not just them at the Apollo.
And you received a medal too, right?
Yeah, so I didn't know. That was a surprise. Because I worked with the Apollo on things. They Kennedy Center Honors awarded everybody that works with the Apollo one of the medals. So because usually if you're getting the Kennedy Center Honor, they usually give everybody that rainbow medal. Yeah, and it's usually that one person. But because the Apollo is a building or institution, they gave one to everybody that was involved. Wow. So yeah, it's a Tiffany and Company medal. I still got it. So if times ever get tough, man.
Nah, don't trade.
What you mean? I can't.
Don't trade it.
I can't do that.
Nah, man. Your talent gonna work for you forever, baby. Well, trust it.
I trust
that. Trust that.
Right.
Tell me about the Tamar Hall show. like having that spotlight. That's huge. That was probably the biggest show to date that you've been part of as far as an interview, maybe, because her audience is really huge. Tell me what it did for you personally and professionally.
Changed the game, really. I mean, that was my first national TV interview. It it was her audience is my audience. I mean, you know, I don't know if you've been at the shows. You know, I love.
I ain't never been on her show, buddy.
No, but I'm
hey
saying,
man, let me tell you something, Kofi. You done did some shit I ain't never did, bro. Yeah, I mean, you got an Emmy. I got a Grammy and a Billboard, but
you see how you just casually said that though. I mean, I got a Grammy, I got a
Billboard award, but I want an Emmy. I see some of my peers get Emmys. I want it all, bro. I mean, I'm not like that, but I mean, you know, I like shiny things and I like awards. I'm not award driven because I give my talent is for the world and to touch lives. But the Emmy thing, but that show is a huge show.
Yeah, well, Tamar is awesome. I mean, like I said, I was talking about more so her audience is my audience from the standpoint of I love her. I have a women, older women or aunties or whatever people call them. I love them. I love the aunties. The aunties love me, and so I love to be able.
The aunties love you.
You see my meet and greets, Joe? My meet and greets are special.
They be wanting you.
Oh, do they?
They look cool,
man.
You know. But at any rate, let's talk about the Akron, the Elevating Possibilities Scholarship. It's a major moment, and what inspired you to create a scholarship that's specifically for arts and athletics?
So it happened because I saw that there was something going on in my hometown where it really spurred from this school board meeting that I went to. And so I went to a school.
You didn't like what was going on at the school board meeting?
I didn't like what teachers and staff members was emailing me about. So there was a situation where, long story short, the district had promised and had issued out these different, tax levy things that they wanted the community to vote on that would promise a community of individuals 2 new schools in an area. So one was going to be the performing arts school that I went to, Miller South, and the other one was another school called Pfeiffer, I believe, in the Kenmore, Ohio area, or Akron, Kenmore area. But apparently, whoever's in charge with budgets forgot that inflation was a thing. And so once they started to move forward to do the project, they found out that they were $17 or $18 million in the hole. And so they were like, well, we can only have 3 options. We'll either not build the school for these kids that we promised, we'll either build one of the schools and we'll have to merge the performing arts school in with another middle school. So basically getting rid of the performing arts school.
Wow.
Or the third option was to actually go through with what they promised.
Okay.
And I like that third option, Joe. So I saw that was happening, and I got these messages, and there was a school board meeting, and people kept saying, Kofi, you should go. And I wasn't even here at the time when I heard about it, so I flew back, and I was like, all right, Kofi, you got to go to this meeting, because this is one of those things where it's like, if you don't show face, you're going to regret it. So I went and spoke at the school board meeting, and I saw they were recording it, and I was like, well, they recorded the feed on the school board meeting. Let me share it, just so people can know that I showed my support, and I was there, and I spoke. And that video went viral too, Joe.
I know, you the viral king.
Nah, I
know, you made me go viral. I was like, everywhere viral.
I didn't know it was going to happen like that, but what that did was really raise the awareness of what I was already doing with my youth program, Beyond the Keys. So
Beyond the Keys also. You got all these programs. Now, this particular scholarship gives 5 students $1,000 a rack.
Well, so that's what we started off with. So I had an individual that's from my hometown named Larry Nance Jr.
Larry Nance Jr., I'm going to bring him up.
Yeah, man.
You didn't bring him up, so I don't even have to ask a question. Well, tell me about your relationship.
Larry reached...
From the Cavaliers.
From the Cleveland, who plays now with them.
Yes.
Yeah, Larry saw the video, and he reached out to me. He said, hey, man, however I can help, I'm invested in trying to help you out, or help out that situation in particular with the school district. And in my mind, I was like, well, Larry, I don't know if you want to put in about $17 million into this. That's a little lofty. And it wasn't a budget thing too. That was the other thing. It was never about the money. They had the money. They had the money. They misallocated it, and and that was more about the holding people accountable portion of it, more so than the where's the money thing for me. So it wasn't about getting somebody to donate no money like that toward the school district. It was never that. It's just so people know that. And actually, to this point now, that last week they just announced that they found the funding to be able to move forward.
They found it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't.
Well,
it was hiding in somebody's.
it was
couch.
hiding somewhere. We know about the funds, but now Larry said something really powerful. And by the way, Larry Nance Jr., his father was an amazing player for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I remember watching him. This was before your time.
No, but his brother, his son, Pete, used to
good?
kick my tail in basketball.
Oh, so yeah.
AAU basketball back in the day.
Oh, you played AAU?
I had a stint where I played briefly.
So Larry made a powerful statement. He said, whether it's sports, music, or any form of expression, students deserve to know there's a way forward. How does that resonate with you? What did that do for you, him saying that?
You got two examples of it, right? You got Larry, who's doing amazing stuff within his field of athletics, and you got myself, who's creating a lane with the music. And we're being both from Akron. That's a great parallel, especially now with starting this scholarship fund in Akron for high school students. I think it's just cool to be able to see that there's a way for both people to do certain things. Athletes can be cool with musicians. Musicians can be cool with athletes. It doesn't have to be monolithic. People don't have to be monolithic. And I think that's the cool thing. I've worked with Steph Curry's of the world. It's weird that I met Steph Curry, and I worked with Larry Nance and all these other amazing athletes from Akron, except LeBron. But that's always so funny to me. It really is.
So, what is the message that you want people to walk away with when, not just through your artistry, but with your life? What do you want them to walk away with you?
I always say your talent can get you there, but your character will keep you there. That's the thing I hope people, keep learning from me or getting from me. Everybody, you can play an instrument, but are you a good person? Can you bring a smile to somebody's face? How are you off your instrument? I even talked about that to the guys that I work with and hire on these tour dates that I'm doing. I'm like, you can be a dope musician all you want, but are you somebody that we want to be around all day? Are you a camaraderie person? Do you bring a laugh to the room, or do you piss us off? Right. If you do that, then you might want to stay home. Well, you probably will stay home because I ain't gonna call you again. So it's just one of them things where it's all about character more than the talent right now. And as long as that's paramount for somebody, I think the rest will take care of itself, man. This journey it's not a me thing at this point. This is just a we thing. It's a people power thing. The more that I continue to just share my story and shine some light, and it's not even a me. It's not a me thing. It's a him thing, man.
Man, you gotta say that.
As long as he continues to shine his light through me consistently, and I allow that to be the focus, and not that Kofi's doing
y'all.
this. Yeah,
that's real.
Ushers, lock the door.
We'll lock the door. Oh, not lock the door, Ushers. So check out. This is my final question, and this is a question that I ask all of my guests. Kofi, when you look in the mirror, this is something that I ask all my guests. This is a question that you're not going to get away from this platform without answering.
Okay.
Kofi, when you look in the mirror, who and what do you see? That's a banger. Take your time.
I see a 9-year-old kid that was singing karaoke songs in front of his TV, and his mom was recording them, or even at 5 years old doing that, looking at the reflection of what he can become. That's what I see. And I think that I keep that as the motivation. Because honestly, Joe, a lot of the stuff that I have done, I've dreamed about doing it over a span of 25, 30 years, and I did it before I was 30 at this point. Yeah. So it's what's motivating me? Because some people, they get the Emmy nominations or whatever, and they feel like that's it. I made it, But it's I want to keep making that kid proud, man. Man, that's powerful. Hey, look, man, Kofi, I love you, bro. Man, thank you, man.
We are continuing to build energy and things together. There are many things for you and I to do in the future, man. But listen, young man, I want you to just keep doing what you're doing, man, and allowing the Creator to work through you as an instrument to touch lives. And when I say that, I say it emphatically, that you are something special, man, that's given to this world. The gift that you give is the gift that keeps giving, man. And I want to always keep you encouraged and let you know, man, that you is amazing. And I want you to always know that. Never give up on your dreams, because you, at this point, you're not. But I love that you want to continue to expound and to expand what you do. So, man, I thank you for coming on the show today. This means so much to me, man. This is like a dream having you on here, because I just knew that it was going to be powerful and impactful. And I want you young people out there in America. This guy right here is a true example of where you should be as far as mindset, pivoting, taking your time, making decisions in your life, and choosing positive. This guy right here, study him, learn him, follow him. Kofi B is a true leader for you all's generation. So Kofi, tell everybody how they can contact you, all your social networks.
Yeah, man, you can stay in touch with me on all social media platforms at Kofi B Music. KOFI Music, my website, KofiBmusic.com.
Okay.
If you can't find me there, I did something wrong, Joe.
No, look, hey man, you said you was a marketing major, so you did your thing. So this is Joe Little III, A1 Conversations. I thank you today. Kofi, I thank you. And we'll be back with another amazing, powerful interview. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.